How's it going, everyone? And look, I'm posting again. Wow, that's a surprise, isn't it? That I'm not like leaving it for another 800 months and then making a video, but yeah, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about a topic that I'm really excited to share with you guys, as I didn't know much about it going into it. I've done my research and I think this is a really interesting topic to go into, and I just can't wait to share it with you. Of course, if you've had a look at the title, and how dare you look at the title before clicking on a video, you should know that's illegal. You know that we're going to talk about Dutch angel dragons, one of the most popular open species out there in the whole fandom. Before we dive straight into this topic, please consider giving the channel a like and subscribing if you haven't, because it makes me happy, and to see that little number go up, that, you know, gives me immense pleasure in my life. So yeah, do that or else. Of course, as always, the links to any creators that are going to be used in this video are going to be chucked in the description and on the screen, and I really ask you to go give them some love and support and check out more of their stuff. You might really like it. It is super important to support artists and creators, so go check them out and give them a bit of love. So with that said, let's get into talking about Dutch angel dragons. So Dutch angel dragons are an open species that is massively popular within the furry fandom and has sparked some of the most creative character designs and fursuits out there. So Dutchies, as I'll be referring to them probably a couple more times in this video, were created by Inno89777, who created Telephone, the first Dutchie. You can see why people love Dutchies. Like on the screen right now is Telephone, and Telephone's just really adorable. It's a really cool suit in general that has become incredibly iconic to the furry community and has been seen. The reason for the Dutch in their name is a reference to Inno's horse, which passed away, which I think is a really sweet way for their horse to live on in the furry fandom, and it's just really wholesome and awesome. They became an open but regulated species in 2014, meaning that the Dutchie as an open species is roughly 7 years old now. Saying that, I bet there are some people out there whose main persona has been a Dutchie for years and they feel so old now, so you're welcome. I ruin everyone's day. An important note is Dutch angel dragons are independent from angel dragons, and as a result this can be a little confusing to some. So yeah, just keep that in mind, that Dutchies don't encompass all types of angel dragons. So Dutch angel dragons have some really interesting lore behind them, and I must say I love species having their own lore like this that's sort of funky and interesting to read and just gives a bit more depth about the species as a whole, and it gives people more reason to get excited about making a persona or character using this species, and just leads to great creativity and crazy designs that are justified by their pretty wild and out there lore. So to be brief about this, Dutchies are a species that lives among us all invisibly and acts as guardian angels. They come from a different dimensional plane and use energy to give them physical powers such as flight or interfacing with people and objects around them. All this lore about them is really interesting, and I love how wild it is and a bit different from what you usually see. Yeah, my research was really interesting. That description I gave doesn't really give you the full picture of the Dutch angel dragon lore, but I really recommend that you go and read the full lore on the official website. There's an ambulance coming. I apologize, I'm gonna cut this out so you guys don't have to hear this. That description I gave doesn't really give you the full picture of the Dutch angel dragon lore, but I really recommend that you go and read the full lore on the official website, as it gives you a real in-depth look into what they are as a species, and in my opinion is really interesting and super creative about them. We need a Dutchie cinematic universe, okay? This isn't up for debate. This stuff is deep and I need this in my life. So now we have gone through some of the basics and the lore, I want to have a look at some of the anatomy of Dutchies and what makes them up as a species. They can be different sizes and colours, as well as being able to look as old as they want, as they are an ageless creature. So a really cool part of Dutch angel dragons is the way in which they can essentially be reborn, quote unquote, in a similar manner to a phoenix. And when they emerge from their egg, they can emerge with changes to their appearance. This makes them super easy to customize if, say, you're not entirely in love with the color of your duchy that you have. You can just say got reborn, and yeah, now they're like a different color if you want. And I think that's a really interesting and cool way of allowing people to have personal customization to their own personas or characters. The parts of a duchy that you cannot change are mentioned on the website, and these are unique horse inspired draconic anatomy, particularly face, nose, layout of teeth, overall body build, and digigrade stance. Long pointed ears about the same length as their overall head, feather covered avian style wings, majority or all of their body has a fur coat, unique internal anatomy for generating and storing supernatural energy with no digestive tract or reproductive systems. The website talks all about the markings that a Dutch Angel Dragon may have, so I really recommend having a look if you want to create one yourself. Comparatively to most other open species, duchies are really customizable. You can even duplicate up to 2 limbs from the following: tails, wings, mouths, eyes, and ears. Any species that can duplicate limbs of their characters are always awesome in my books. I would go so far as to say, if I ever made a duchy, which I really want to, then they would definitely have multiple limbs and funky markings and colours. One of the interesting things about duchies are that they are sexless and genderless. While being referred to as they, them in official texts, they can be referred to as any pronoun the personal creator desires, which is a little bit of inclusivity that I think is really, really nice, and I'm glad that that's the thing. Some aspects that people may be confused about is the eyes of the duchy. While seeing telephone, it may seem like all duchies, or at least most of them, may have that white pupilless, like blind look, which by no means is a common trait, so you can just have your duchy have whatever eye colour or shape you want, really. From doing the research for this video, I have found that this species is particularly popular as being made into fursuits, much more than something like a protogen, which I've mentioned in a previous video. So there's a link up there, go click on it if you want to find out more about protogens and primogens. So there is definitely more artwork sort of around protos and primas than there is for duchies. So let's wrap this video up. Duchies are a species that I was aware of before starting to write this video, but I've really learned a lot about them from researching. They are a really creative species, with their lore being really in-depth and really, really cool, as well as having some really adorable designs created by the community, and it's really understandable why they're such a popular species in the furry fandom overall. Not to mention, of course, let's talk about Telephone. Telephone is truly the definition of adorable, and it's so cool and inspiring to see how they have grown this species since its opening. Duchies are just such a cool design, and I think it's one of those species that is popular as like an open species, but there is still a lot of people who don't really know much about them, and the idea of angel dragons themselves is quite a niche thing. So while most people have typical animals as their species, duchies are an option if you want to go with a more creative species that has some really interesting lore and good scope for creativity. So that's all I got to say about duchies, but before I go, I will say I will be putting the link to the official website in the description in case you want to have more information on all aspects of this species, and hopefully we can do more videos about different species, and more, not like the common species, we go more in depth about more wild and crazy or interesting species that I find out there. So yeah, go drop a like on this video. Thank you for watching all the way, and go sub and leave a comment if you want, saying anything. Just say the word duchy if you want, that'd be great. I hope you guys have a really, really good day, and I can't wait to see you really soon for the next video. Have a good day, guys. Goodbye.